The world has always had evil in it, but now it comes in a new and insidious form: dishonest science. Yes, some parts of science have been hijacked by the same evil forces which start wars, killing millions of people. Twisted, skewed, defective, dishonest science is being used to rob our bank accounts, damage our health, break our relationships, and destroy our faith and hope. So I'm creating these videos for anyone who will listen. I'm in the forest because forests are where people come to feel a part of nature and connect to the God who created them. Last video, I gave you an example of the dishonest science used to encourage suicide. This video, I will shock you with another example of dishonest science. Hint: what is more scientific, the Big Bang Theory or Star Trek? You're wrong. Last video, I gave you an antidote for suicide: hope. And I introduced you to a father so angry at a supposedly loving God for letting his daughter die. This video, I will talk about that. I can't imagine one of my sons or daughters dying, but I can imagine being extremely angry with God if that happened. Why does a good God let bad things happen to good people? That's the question everyone asks. Here's what I know after being in God's family for 60 years. We've had our ups and downs. I've had job losses, business failures. We've had sickness and disease. I've battled fear and discouragement. One Christmas, things were so tight financially that there was not going to be any money for presents. A friend who didn't know anything about how tight we were financially dropped off some cash. We had presents that year. That's the God we serve. How about that angry young father shaking his fist at God for letting his daughter die? This is what we know about tragedy striking. First, a God we can fully understand isn't God. But the Bible tells us that God did not create the death and destruction we live in. He made us perfect in the Garden of Eden. No death, no sickness. The garden included a warm and trusting relationship with a God who loves us, as well as beauty and truth and excellence. But we, Adam and Eve, and everyone after that, succumbed to the temptation to hate and destroy. We all have evil in our hearts. God doesn't stop all the evil in the world because he made us free to make choices. But God has a plan for every person's life to get back some of that goodness, some of that love and beauty that was in the garden. But if the angry father shakes his fist at God, he denies God the opportunity to make something good from that tragedy. Whereas if we open our arms, open our heart to the love of God, that gives God the opportunity to make something good out of whatever tragedy is there. These are the two choices we have when tragedy strikes. But how do we know for sure that the Bible is true and the God of love it talks about is there? There has been evil in our world for thousands of years, but today, sometimes, it is incredibly well disguised as intelligent sounding but dishonest science. So how do we know if a particular subject within science has been hijacked by evil forces? Simple. If it tries to crush or cancel opposition to its point of view, we know evil is in control. Why? Because the scientific method is always looking for new information, always willing and ready to change its opinion of something. So the Big Bang Theory, it claims to explain the formation of the universe without the need for God. Does it do a good job? Well, 33 scientists have said their point of view is being crushed, and they wrote a letter to that effect stating that the Big Bang Theory is a lousy theory. They point out that it only has 5% actual science in it. The other 95% is hope in the future that somehow, someday, some science will be discovered that will explain what they're observing. Pop quiz. Which is more scientific, the Big Bang Theory or Star Trek? Star Trek has about 30 to 50% actual science in each episode, meaning that a Star Trek episode at only 30% is 6 times more scientific than the Big Bang Theory. And the problem gets worse for the Big Bang Theory. Modern technology, like the James Webb Space Telescope, are observing things each day that are making it harder and harder for the Big Bang to explain. It's kind of like telling a lie. As more details emerge, it's harder and harder for the lie to stick. We don't have time to go into all these things in this video. If you want more information, go to my Substack. Remember, the God of love knows your name. And 3,000 years ago, he said in the Bible, "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good and not disaster, to give you a future and a hope." The evil in the world tries to hide that fact through dishonest science. Next video, see this old face? It and every other old face you see is proof of God's creation and refutes evolution. I have the DNA data to prove it. Next video. Thanks for watching.